So I'm watching this Griffin Gaming's video right here, right? Do you know what this gentleman just said? He just said in this, I literally heard this and I fired up my OBS, and he said he's hoping that PlayStation does not follow suit in raising the prices of their console so that they can earn back some goodwill for the gaming community. Then he said this and presented a PlayStation console deal. And listen to what he said.
And buy an Xbox at this point. I mean, shit, man, for the Series S 1 terabyte, you can go out and buy a regular PlayStation 5 for $450, and it's bundled with Astrobot. That's what we're talking about here, man. There is no reason to go out and buy an Xbox, and while it does...
Do you hear this guy? He says that there is no reason. First, he skips the reality that PlayStation already raised its prices in other regions except US, number one. Number two, this is the problem that those people who are PlayStation fanboys, and apparently I've been hearing that Griffin Gaming had been fanboying lately. I didn't know that he was actually knee deep like this to come and tell you something without considering what the value proposition is. But this homie did not tell you that if you actually buy yourself a Series S at $500, even at the new price, it's still a better proposition for games than a PlayStation. He didn't tell you that. You remember just a few days ago, ladies and gentlemen, and again, before I even jump into this video, I say screw Xbox and Microsoft for raising these prices, by the way. They can go pound sand, and I hope that their lunch gets cold while they're eating it, just so that we're clear about that, because I'm not sitting here to try to justify their raising of prices for the console, simply because they promised you that you were coming into a business proposition where they would take a loss on the hardware. Now they're switching up the game on y'all. So that's why they're not going to get any concession from me. And anybody who defends this needs to pound sand. Does that make sense? This is something that needs to be said. Because again, I've been looking at console gaming and laughing at how it's insane because, ladies and gentlemen, they just want to pretty much milk their already existing Xbox ecosystem people. There are people sitting on the Xbox One consoles who would like to move, and now that Xbox is gaining so much momentum in terms of their own games, because people like this Griffin Gaming guy tries to bury his head in the sand to pretend like, oh, you can buy a PlayStation 5 console bundled with Astrobot to play what? Xbox games that you just reported here are going to be $80 pretty soon. He's over here telling you that Xbox is about to raise their prices, but he's not wanting to give you the value proposition, and he's then telling you to go buy yourself a PlayStation 5 so that you may play Xbox games, as we're seeing that Xbox is the biggest publisher on PlayStation 5 and skip out on the value proposition. It's so weird. It's so weird to me. I wish and I would wonder if these people who probably have been gaming on PC for a number of years, by the way, I wish they would have probably told you and said, hey man, in terms of the value proposition, in terms of utility and all that, a gaming PC would work on your behalf. I'm sitting here looking at Twitter and everybody is already talking. Some people are already talking about the increase in the price of Game Pass. Well, if you game on an ecosystem that's not dependent on Game Pass, well, you'll be able to leverage prices in the market in those ways. Doc said, before y'all go ahead and start celebrating Game Pass right now, I suggest you wait a few days and see if the price of that will go up too. Y'all willing to pay for $30 for Game Pass? Not me, homie. Just wait. I'm not giving anybody $30 for anything for a subscription service. They can go ahead and kick a freaking cactus plant with their bare feet. Okay? They'd sooner do that before I even ever. That's not happening. This person said, Astro Cyborg said, and this is about an Xbox podcast, instead of holding Xbox accountable, they're blaming Nintendo. Now, I get it, Astro Cyborg. Yes, they need to hold Xbox accountable, but Nintendo, they're fans as well. They also share something in this. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the consoles haven't come out yet. You know what to do. Jacob Turkelson, the Turk, shout out to him. He says, time for me to upload some PC hardware over on eBay. Guys, I'm telling you, man, the market's about to be bustling on PC. Opportunities everywhere. Price elasticity everywhere. Don't sleep. Don't let these boxed people come and try to tell you that this is the only option that you have. It's not. 2025, ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting here where devs are still launching games, right? Let me show you something. Devs are still launching games with hardware from 2016 in mind. Don't let let's go and look at Doom Dark Ages. What are they asking for Doom Dark Ages? ID Soft. Beautiful, machine, right? In terms of the way they make their games. Look at what they're asking you. Look at a GPU they're asking you for. A 2060 or an RX 6600. GPU with 8 gig of dedicated VRAM. Did you see that? Now, if you go talk to the people in the Hardware Unboxed and all that stuff, they have a case that they're making against 8 gigs of VRAM. Their case is not the same as this. Their case is NVIDIA and AMD ought to do away with 8 gigs of VRAM. But here's what I said in my previous video. It seems like with things like ray tracing and such, having introduced it into these game developers, purview, they're all now fighting of who's going to give you a game with ray tracing when most of the best games that we ever played never had ray tracing and never needed all that hardware. But AMD and NVIDIA have to sell hardware to you as well. So they've gone to pretty much plant a seed into the developer side of the gaming industry. And now they're all chasing this, fortitude of game presentation that your hardware now has to pretty much look like the hardware that they used to use to make those videos. Even better than the hardware they used to make video games back in the day. You see exactly what's going on here? So when you think about it and say, okay, so they're saying recommended, I need to use a 3080 and all this stuff, but they're saying for my system requirements, I can use an 8 gig dedicated VRAM GPU. You can play this stuff with the 1080 Ti. You'll be fine. Sure, you're going to play at 1080, low quality, whatever. Folks, some of my favorite games were at 30 FPS. I played Far Cry the other day at 60 FPS, and I was just laughing because FPS never mattered when I was actually enjoying that game. And so this is something that needs to be said. Not saying you should go play at 30 FPS. Not saying you should abandon your console and go play at 30 FPS. I'm not saying that. I'm pointing out that there are options out here in the market. And it's just so funny that this gentleman, this is the conclusion that he came with to say that there's no reason to buy an Xbox. If there wasn't, why are they out of stock? If there wasn't, why is the PlayStation Plus subreddit all talking about how Game Pass is already better in terms of a market proposition? In fact, some of them here are even unveiling the fact that they have, whatchamacallit. Most of them are already, basically talking about the reality that they also have Xboxes as well. Let me tell you something. This market is going to correct itself. Xbox is just riding the train right now, right? Xbox is basically riding the train to what these other two are doing because they now have leverage. They literally do have leverage. I was just reading through it. This Griffin Gaming guy, I can't believe you said that. Where this particular subreddit thread here is a bunch of PlayStation players talking about how Game Pass is actually a better proposition. Plus, Xbox has made it for you where you can skip the console if you want. Of which, like I said, I would rather you come to PC because you would eventually you'd basically jump over all the consoles and have a better proposition. But it's a very interesting thing at the end of the day. Listen a little more.
That's what we're talking about here, man. There is no reason to go out and buy an Xbox. And while it does line up with Xbox's marketing for the past 2 years or so, where they've outright told you not to buy the console because
they just said you can access the games wherever you want. If you look at it, this is an Xbox campaign. There are Xbox consoles over there. However, they are already, and again, this is pointing out their market reality, okay? They are taking a loss on their hardware. They see Nintendo trying to scarf the market, and Nintendo fans and the media, who's always at the behest of these other companies, but Xbox, it's always bad, have also allowed for them to just skate free because they need access, right? Xbox is leveraging and playing their game against them, and it's affecting the consumer. If the media would give any negative criticism to PlayStation and Nintendo for their pricing, right, then Xbox would probably have backed down. But now they have no grounds. One of my audience members said that people are going to make it, sound like Xbox is doing something bad. And I laughed and I said, the moment they do, they're going to expose themselves as frauds because they don't have any grounds to do it. I already saw Zubitech and all these people pitting Xbox consoles against PlayStation consoles. But one thing that many of them are not pitting is if you make your way into the PlayStation ecosystem, you're pretty much buying a dud where you're going to be also burdened with some of the biggest games that are played on PlayStation, while people on Xbox, however they got in, Series S, Series X, tablet, phone, TV, will be in a better position than you if you play and subscribe to the PlayStation subscription service. You guys hearing what I'm saying here? So again, it's a very weird place, and it shows that so-called Xbox is not the third place, weakling that you guys thought they were. Interesting how they're also a corporation that knows how to basically go ahead and farm money out there, and y'all have been sleeping on them. Now you want to go ahead and talk about value and call PlayStation? Get the heck out of here.
It's time for you to put up or shut up, and these console sales are not doing it, buddy. Maybe the whip is finally getting cracked over.
Oh, hold on. What is he saying?
This was an ultimatum issued to the Xbox department by Microsoft. Like, hey, we went out on a limb here. We gave you almost $100 billion worth of acquisitions. It's time for you to put up or shut up, and these console sales are not doing it, buddy. Maybe the whip...
They already knew that before $100 billion, Griffin. Don't make it sound like this is new. Yo, does this guy know anything about the gaming industry, by the way? Sorry, I'm a little heated today and I'm a little loud. I have no problem with him. I've listened to his stuff before. But does he not know that Xbox has been exploring the PC market since like 2018? Like, did Xbox just show up into this whole thing and is now talking about they're cracking the whip? Yo, they've been cracking the whip since the consoles weren't selling in the Xbox One days. This is just an expansion of what they already saw as viable. When they saw it as viable, do you know what was going on? Every single one of the talking heads, I don't know about you, Griffin Gaming, or let me not say every single one of the talking heads. The talking heads were busy console warring, while Xbox was winning on PC without the consoles. Think, Omni-Man, think.
Is finally getting cracked over there at Xbox, and Phil Spencer actually has to deliver some money, man, because this is absolutely insane.
Phil been delivering money for Xbox even without the console selling. Get the heck out of here. Again, we have the Steam Best of everything that you can go back all the way and find. This is Steam Best of 2024, right? Like right here. This is it right here. You see all the top sellers. Without the Xbox console, Xbox has got a game in this was 2024. 2024, they got a game in, what is it? The silver or whatever it is. Yeah, with Forza Horizon in the silver position. If you go to 2023, let's go back a little bit. They post them all the way here. 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. Let's look at what Xbox has been doing in terms of games. 2023, they made it into this list with Starfield. They already delivered money. They also had some of their games sitting on the much lower tiers. Forza delivered money. They even went to PlayStation, delivered money. Phil has been delivering money to Microsoft via Xbox without the consoles. Griffin Gaming and all of the talking heads, can we please wake up? Can we please wake up to the reality here? I've been singing this stuff oh my gosh.
Insane. We are 5 years into this console generation, and we're seeing a 20% price increase on a 5-year-old console. Not a updated version, not a more powerful version, the exact same version that...
The PS5 Pro showed up and unclocked its CPU and gave itself a little bit of sprinkles, and they asked for $700 without a disk drive. And PlayStation players and fanboys, a number of them, you justified it. Do you remember that you justified it? That if you wanted to piece together the PS5 Pro and all of the things that it came with, you needed to actually spend close to $800. And you justified it. You said it's for the enthusiast. Did you not know that the price increases were going to follow by whoever could actually pull it off? And Xbox now are confident enough to pull it off. This is why I've told y'all to go to PC. Don't let these people get confident while you're on your watch. Companies got to be groveling for your money. That's the way it's got to be.
Launched back in 2020 is now $100 more expensive than it was basically 5 years ago. This is absolutely unprecedented. Now, again,
this is absolutely something that could have been prevented. While if we look at, say, one of the most popular GPUs in the gaming space, the RTX 3060, at this moment in time, if you go and look at its price history from launch, it has actually gone down in price from when it showed up in the market at first. Do you see that? And it's only 2 years old. You see, people talk about PC gaming prices going up, and I'm like, are you even paying attention to what's going on? I mean, like, is anybody even taking into account what's going on? All those 3060s in the Steam hardware survey that then became 4060s, right? Steam hardware, let's look at it. You know, it used to be the 3060 that was the most popular GPU used. Now it became the 40. Oh, it's back. It's back on top. It was a 4060 for a while. Then the 3060 then went up. Well, its price went down. People bought more. It's got more VRAM than a 4060. Wake up. Let's wake up.
Sony may follow suit. This may not just be a Microsoft thing, but I think
they're leading the charge. What are you saying? Follow suit. They already raised prices.
it's very.
They already sold a $1,000 SKU. What are you talking about, sir? This guy acting like we all just woke up.
Interesting that they specifically cite the call.
I'm good, bro. Thank you very much for your insight on the matter, but I don't think we're all on the same page. I strongly believe that a lot of people were basically just in their fanboy feelings. You see, they can't even levy a strong criticism against Xbox. They're all just dancing around the matter. You know what I mean? It just seems like even the PlayStation fanboys that have been so rabid against Xbox seem like they lost the spine. You know why they lost the spine? They lost it when the PS5 Pro showed up and they said it was fine. That's when their spine was removed in this matter. So now sit down, shut up, and let your consistency show. If not, you be called a hypocrite. That's what's going on with the entirety of the talking head, whatever. Look at Zubitech. Look at Zubitech already getting showcased by Astro Cyborg. And he's saying, when PSN raised their prices, Mooch is already out there. He's pointing them out. TCFMF Games is also pointing out, you can buy the PS5 Pro for $700, yet the PS5 Black for $729. They're already out here all starting to now want to throw shade. Man, sorry. This is not the argument you should be making. What you should do is you should go back to PlayStation and ask them to give you better value or come to PC. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to go. Instead of having your PlayStation subreddit sit here and fawn over Game Pass. Nonsense. So people think that console... You see, this is the problem with console warring. It doesn't have the consumer's interest at heart. That's the problem with it. You, the consumer that's actually spending your hard-earned cash, you get left, on the side while these people basically run with their egos to pretty much try to one-up or own other people. A very weird thing. Thank you for watching. I know it's a little, ranty here, but it is what it is. Peace out.